Get mad real. Get mad real. Get mad real. Get mad real.
What's going on, guys? We are back with another episode of Getting Mad Real. And I am honored and privileged to bring to you one of the pillars of this Madden community as well.
Big
Some
pillar.
of you have seen him.
A fat pillar.
Hey, we need all shapes and sizes of pillars and strength. So. But someone that's very active as far as, bringing this community together, hosting tournaments, doing a lot of giveaways, doing charity streams. Someone that has a very good heart, as you can just see by his actions. Digital champion. So welcome, buddy, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. Glad to do it, man. Glad to do it. When you asked me, I was like, let's go. Anytime I get a chance to talk, I'm all for it. Because I don't get a chance with my wife. Like I talk, like I say 5 words and she never, she doesn't know what I'm talking about anyway. So anytime I get a chance to talk to somebody, I'm all for it.
So how far do when you start talking to her, because I get you, I'm right there with you. You start talking to her and how about she checks out, when she checks out. So how long do you keep talking when she checks out? Do you go for
I
a
usually
while?
quit when she grabs her phone or she starts looking at her phone. I usually wave the white flag. I'm done after that. Like I'm just, then I know I've completely lost her.
Well,
she's nice. She'll kind of ask like one of those questions to your wife. Oh yeah, well, is he good? Like she don't care. Like really, bless her heart. And then she's checked out. I would check out too.
You wanted it. It's so funny because you like I've said, that's one of the I've said in a couple of the interviews, that's something that got me into content creating and kind of putting myself out there. Is you want to share so much, this passion we have with people, and nobody around me in my immediate vicinity gives 2 shits. You know what I mean? It's like
and that's the bad part and you'll talk to family members too. Like you'll be, I find myself I'll be talking to my brother, diehard sports fan, and I'll bring up some random ass player that only we would know as like Madden players, and he's just like, dude, like I don't know the entire Browns roster. I don't know them. I'm like, oh well, Grant Delpit's a great user, Kyle. So you need to use.
Yes, he's 6'3". He's gonna have he's gonna be all over the place.
Like, oh,
man.
okay.
Come on.
He doesn't care.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. But yes, definitely, that's one thing we all can relate to, unless we're surrounded by people that in our immediate vicinity. That it's kind of hard to be able to share those passions, and that's why a lot of us probably do go on, and then we have our regular people we talk to. And I don't know about you, but and one thing, and another reason I want to do these interviews is people just end up becoming sometimes like these faces or these names on the screen, and you really don't have personalities on it, and it's kind of like this faceless entity. You know what I mean? And to me, it's this angry, faceless entity that's just this is out there and saying, like,
a lot of times they are.
But so what made you? I'm kind of what got me there. What made you want to come out there and like put things out there? As far as sharing content, whether it be just streaming or getting out there.
I just wanted people to listen to me. No, really. It was a couple of years ago, and my wife, we just had to find out she was pregnant with our first child. We only got 2. That's it. We've capped there. But she was pregnant with the first one, and around that time, I think this was like Madden. It might have been on the backside of Madden 18, I think, and it was right when Twitch really like started to take it to that next level. I think when a lot of people started paying more attention to it, and I was kind of looking at the Madden community and stuff, and I'd been in it for a while. Like I said, I'd been on Mutthead forever, and I just kind of sat down. I was like, you know what, I want to do this. Like I was like, I think I can get. I'm not ever worried about being in front of the camera. Like that doesn't bother me because I ramble so much. But I was like, you know what, I think that I can get a hold of this. I think we can do it. So I just kind of mapped it out, and it took me. It took me 3 months of planning just to hit the button. I'm like really weird. Like I really am. Like, aside from what people see, like I was like, I wanted to attack it in a way that when I flipped the button, I knew things were going to go wrong, because they always do every day. But I wanted to make sure like all my ducks were in order. So like I made sure like I had every social media account in line. Shout out to the guy on Twitter that has no followers with Digital Champion. I'd really like to buy that from you. But so like I tried to get all of that, and then equipment and everything. And just wanted everything in a row and then kind of did it. And then like funny, I still get stuff all the time from people. Like when I first went live, I didn't go live streaming Madden. Again, diehard Madden player. I started streaming Fortnite. And I really don't know why. I swear to God, it's on my channel. If you go to my channel, it's still there. They're clips. People love to give me hell about it. But I don't know. I think honestly, I think I was a little scared to kind of dive right in because you're so prepped for it, and then you get right to it, and it's hard sometimes to press the button. And so like I was like, okay, I'll just play Fortnite. Well, I'm not a great Madden player at all, but like man, at shooters, I take it to a whole nother level of bad. And nobody wants to watch somebody that dies immediately and then just watches everything play out. So finally, after a month, I got into Madden, kind of used Mutthead, the connections there, and kind of got more active like on social media and stuff with Twitter and everything. And then, I mean, it just kind of snowballed into whatever this is now, kind of like, I mean, it was this real thought out plan that just kind of derailed and ended up forming its own thing anyway. It's kind of a weird scenario, kind of how it ended up. The only thing I didn't ever do starting out was YouTube because I couldn't ever the editing part and stuff like that. I kind of wanted just to go at one thing, and that was Twitch. That's kind of when I did it. Started out with 2 PCs. I was streaming, playing on one, had streaming the other one. Broke once I got to Madden, broke all that down. Didn't need all that. I was like, all I need is an Xbox, a monitor, and a PC. Like we way overthought this, Tim the Tap Man. And so like I got all that done and kind of that eased it up a lot whenever I simplified stuff and everything. But kind of a weird road, man. Kind of a weird road. I just up and one day decided, I was like, the way I looked at it is like, and my wife agreed, it's sad. She was like, I mean, you play it all the time. You might as well play it in front of people. And I was like, well, let's do it. I mean, we all do. Like we all play this game and video games in general so much. I was like, well, I might as well do it and be able to talk to, like you said, talk to other people that have the same interests and stuff. Before I was just sitting there by myself, or you might be in like some buddies in Xbox chat or something like that, but it was never anything, like what we all have now, nothing like that. So no, it's been a crazy ride for sure.
As you say it, it's so funny how many in so many different ways how it mirrors kind of how what I did. As we both have 2 children, and I was in music before, which means when you do music and you're an independent musician, you're out constantly either at your own show or somebody else's show if you're networking, so you're out. And so I didn't want to be that kind of parent that was out. So I was just, as being at home though, I had this creative juice that needed to get out in some way. So I kind of just filtered that into Madden. I was one of those just hit record way before. I probably should have waited 3 months, but I just had my first video is still on YouTube, and you hear all this kind of static, and so it sounds like I'm broadcasting from Vietnam or something. It's like coming to you live from Vietnam here. I'm playing Madden here in a bunker.
It's all just like swallowing the mic. Man, and I had people ask me all the time, like my name, like where did you come up with your name? Like where did you come up with it? It was a random name generator on Google. I swear to God, I really did. And I typed it. It was a random name generator, and it would check all your social media platforms. And it was like I sat in front of a computer for like 3 hours. My wife would walk by, and she would just spout out some like smart aleck name or something. And I finally just typed in. I was thinking like Dr. Disrespect or something like that. I was like, because I just wanted a name that was kind of catchy, that was but simple. And so I typed that in, and I eventually came to the Digital Champion, and like it pinged a lot of the social media things more than a lot of the other names did. And I was like, all right, that's it. Let's go. So everybody thinks it was like some epiphany or something. I was like, no, it was a random name generator. Swear to God.
Well, I'm glad you answered one of my questions I was going to have for you, because very similar to me. I probably thought that out more than anything else. Me trying to be clever with my writing, because I was like, it's got to rhyme, it's got to be clever. And my whole first catchphrase was, because we play Mad Den, so I wanted to call where I played it the Mad Den.
Yeah.
So I'm Mad Dad in the Mad Den playing Mad Den. That was my original catchphrase I was going to try to get out there, but yeah, so it's funny. It's just funny to see where those humble beginnings and us just trying to put ourselves out there, and then we learn and we grow. So
you do. Yeah. I tell people that all the time, man. They'll ask me like, you know, how do I like just not get your foot in the water, I guess, or just. And I'm like, I would like, my suggestion is to prep, you know, but like even just you hit it perfectly. Like there's not much left of like when I first started to stream. You know, like you put all this planning into it, and like there's not. It's a game of like evolving. That you're just constantly like moving and you know changing stuff all the time. So like that was one of the things I wish that I would have known then, because I would have saved a lot of money probably. But you know.
It's just like it's so similar.
I'm not gonna tell her, so we're good.
The parallels of music and content creating are so similar, just because most musicians or everybody, you overbuy in the very beginning of equipment. You think you need everything. I need the big speaker. I need the best mic. I need the sound effects for everything. And they're like, oh, I didn't need any of this stuff. But then you know, as you learn, you know, you kind of just, as you say, you learn and you grow.
You do. No, yeah, you do.
And I remember this. So the first time I, you know, became connected with you was through I met another content creator, JDub. You know, he's one of the early ones I used to you know, see in the morning. And so you guys were on a show where you talked. It was like Out of Bounds or something like that.
Yeah. We started that Out of Bounds was it August of 19, I think is when that was, because we were prepping for Madden 20, I think. Yeah, that was. It was August 19. And weird facts. Random side fact. I was not going to come back to Madden, and Jay approached me and was like, hey, I want to do the show, and I've got a couple of guys who are going to do it with us. And I knew Buffalo K really well at the time, and I didn't really know Jay that well. I was like you, I'd been in his streams a couple of times, and he was like, you know, are you going to come back to Madden? I was like, yeah, I will. And like, sure enough, you pump yourself up every year for Madden, and sure enough, like right on the dead, I was like, "Oh yeah, Madden's gonna be great. Let's go." Which I mean, the game Madden 20 was rough, but that was a really good year for the community. I felt like there was a lot of creators and stuff for 20 that like really took a big step and stuff, and so I thought 20 was, even though the game was bad, I thought everything else took a big leap, and that's all you can hope for. Because I mean, every game's going to have problems every year. As long as everything else around you gets better, you're good.
It definitely seemed that way from you know, from someone who was becoming more, as myself, more acquainted with what, you know, how things were, you know, because the funny thing is not only because before I was making content, I was barely starting to play Madden again. Like I wasn't playing video games at all for these years. So I mean, I was aware of it. I was still, you know, I played before, and I was aware of how to still play. But when I first came back and saw Mud, I was like, wow, well, this is.
See, that's weird. That's the bad. I mean, I've always been a gamer, but there was a gap there myself where I didn't really mess with a whole lot, you know. And like I played, oddly enough, I played like Batman, Arkham Asylum, and like I would play like those, you know, a couple little bit, but I never. And then 15 hit. Mutt 15, I got into it at Christmas, and man, it was just like I was hooked. I mean, I was hooked literally from the first time I found Ultimate Team. I mean, it was just like, we're done. Like, we're gonna burn money, baby. We're gonna burn it.
Yes, and see, at that I was playing, but I didn't know what it was. I was still playing draft because I was you know, I didn't know how to navigate the game, so I would go straight to draft champions. I was like, oh, you get to pick a whole team each time, and so I would just play that over and over again. I wasn't aware. And then finally, I was getting these packs, and then I was building a team. I was like, what? And then I saw you had to spend money, and then when I saw, I was like, you have to actually spend money in this game besides pay for the game. There's other and it was just a huge.
Oh, bro, so, 15 was rough, man. Like I jumped into it and spent some money on the game right away. Didn't pull anything. That was when there was Boss Legends, and like, you know, you couldn't pull anything. And like solos back then were whole game solos, and they had, you know, captain's cards and stuff for them and everything. And then I was like, this is so funny. I was one of those guys that we see now that, like, you know, in October, they've got the best team that you can build. Like, even like their backup centers are like, you know, legends that they just didn't want, you know what I mean? And so like and you'll play them and it's like, they don't know how to play. I was literally that guy in 15. I was actually on a YouTube, Clickwood, which is he used to be a big YouTuber. I was on one of his videos because in the video's titled like $1 Million Team, our best team in Madden ever, and he played, and I like Clickwood, Nick's a good, but he was bad, and I got beat like 21-10, And I mean, we're talking like the best team on the, like Boss Vic and everything. Like, so now that's like cemented on YouTube forever. So, but yeah, like you said, you quickly get better though. You gotta, when you get so addicted to it, like you want to get, you're competitive and like you want to get better at the game and everything too. So it's, I mean, it's definitely a fun mode.
Yeah, it is. So, so what, at that point when you said when I kind of got to find out who you were, and you guys were all like in a group of like a crew, so to speak at the time, and so how did that I guess come about? Was it just through that show, or was it kind of before that, or was it just
kind of like, I mean, Jay really had the idea from the shoot, and he had an idea, like I said, for Out of Bounds, and he kind of expanded on that, and said like his idea was to create content kind of based off of that. And again, like it sounds weird that this is 2 years ago, but even that type of mentality was in its infancy then. Like now it's not. Like now you see so many people that will join up and that's their, they're going to spread content across all platforms and stuff. And so that's when he wanted Out of Bounds. And I think that was around the time that he formed like the OGN network. And it was really just us that came on at the time. It was me, Kay, Rhino, Jay, and Big Cap. And it was really just us, and then MXC Jimmy. And that was pretty much just the get-go. Our idea at the time was kind of like a around the horn type of scenario, or a PTI, like that kind of thing, And it worked. The community hadn't seen it real, yet, and I thought it worked really well. Like it was a really, really fun time. I thought that, like I said, got me back into it. And then but that we just kind of formed that group, and then they kind of expanded off of that not soon after that, and kind of made it more into like a stream team, I guess. And like brought in some more streamers and stuff like that, and they've kind of obviously taken off from there. But no, that was kind of where it all started. Jay just randomly sent me a DM. He was like, "Hey, how you doing? Do you want it? Would you be interested in this?" And I was like, "Damn, that sounds kind of cool. Like, I mean, I could definitely sit in front of a camera and talk about Madden for an hour. So let's do it, And so it kind of snowballed from there and took off. But no, it was a good time for sure.
So what made you guys stop doing it? I mean, I know it's like, is it just kind of to run its course, or did it
it kind of ran its course. Like I said, I think everybody kind of I don't know, like I think we started and it kind of branched out. Like I said, they brought more members in and stream team members and stuff. And like about a year and a half ago, I kind of wanted to be like not by myself. I don't want to use that phrase, but I just kind of wanted to do content alone for a while, because you kind of get under an umbrella, and I really didn't want to anymore. I just kind of wanted to do my own thing. And I knew that at the time, because I'd helped them and helped everything that we had done and stuff, I was like, well, they're gonna be fine. Like Jay can run it. They got Rhino, you got Kay. They have really, really good content guys over there. I was like, they'll be fine. I was like, they're not gonna miss me. And so I just kind of, because I don't want to use the term branch out, because I didn't really branch out. I just kind of did my own thing. I just kind of wanted to not really be under anything or anything. And to be honest, I can't speak on what really happened with Out of Bounds and everything. They still did it, and just rotated stream team members and stuff like that in. But yeah, I mean, it might have ran its course. Like I think some of that stuff and content kind of does at times. Like that's the only bad thing about digital media, is everything has a lifespan. Like, everything is fine. I mean, everything's got like that window. And so like, I think we use that window, and they still do the show, but I think the height of it was kind of when everybody else, this is before anybody else in the community ever even thought to do a show or anything like that. So I think that also helped too, that it was one of the very, very first ones and stuff like that. So, but no, those guys are still killing it. But I think that was kind of the gist of it from there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely was entertaining. I remember, and that's, at the time, why you stood out to me is obviously had this accent, the sexiest accent on Twitch is what you, I think is one of the monikers you go by.
That was one of my only marketing things that I had to grab, dude. I'm so bad at marketing. I'm a really good, like, I own businesses and have done it my entire life, but like, for some reason, marketing, my wife's the one that did this, because I was sitting there with merch trying to build it, and I was like, I don't have anything on the back. Like, you got to have something. And she was like, well, just do that. And I was like, why have I've been sitting for like 4 hours and you just walk behind me and you're like, yeah, just do that. And I'm like, okay. So
perfect. That's why we have them around, right?
That's what I was about to say. I mean, it's not that she hates it. She's fully supportive, but she just walked by and I could tell. I mean, she was just like, yeah, that, just kept walking. I was like, how did you do that? Like, how did that even work?
But another thing that I should say that really draws, and I guarantee you probably I'm speaking for a lot of viewers, is just your overall delivery of just your raw attitude. You know, growing up, I was a big Andrew Dice Clay, huge fan of the comedian.
Yeah, I was too. I used to watch his stand up all the
Sam
time.
Kinison, and I mean, believe me, as my content, you know, as I think I've told you before, I work at a school, so I have to be very careful with the things that I put out there, and my kids will find me very quickly. But I mean, I promise you, I could sit here and we could go tit for tat or tit for tit if we wanted to for a long time, and just, you know. So why don't you talk? Where does that come from? You know, because I know me, it's my mom. My mom, 100%.
My mom.
You know, my mom is
yeah, like, I mean, my mom growing up, she was always like that mom, the loud mom. She was the funny mom, don't get me wrong, but she was that mom. Like, you always heard her in the crowd. Like, she was the one that had to, like, you know, that's just her. So me and my brother kind of learned, we just would pick up on it and stuff. And that's kind of the way our house was growing up. We were always, I don't know how to put it. We would just always jab each other, like, all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Just like little one-liners all the time. And so just kind of compiled it. And then, I mean, like, as far as the delivery and stuff, in college, I actually did stand up for a little bit in college. And like, believe it or not, I mean, that's one of the hardest things that I've ever attempted to do in my life, because it's weird. You think you can get on Twitch for 6 hours, right? And do whatever you want to, but you need solid material for like 5 minutes. And you're like, what the hell? No, dude, it's the most stressful thing on the planet now, because when you get up there, if that first one doesn't bang and everybody's just looking at you and you're just like, oh my God, like, I've got 4 minutes and 40 more seconds of this. So it's, and that's funny. Like, Kennison was always growing up. We were always watching, like, I showed it on stream a while back. We were always watching Eddie Murphy Raw, Delirious, Kennison, George Carlin, like Richard Pryor. My dad, like, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, hell, I got my first movie, like, real movie, was at like 5 years old, and it was Terminator. So, so that's just the way we didn't,
parental guidance was not suggested to your family. It was all just do it.
No. we just kind of, I don't want to say like allowed to do whatever you want to, but like, we just, make your own decisions and you got to live with them. But like, that was, yeah. So I was always watching that, and I consider that kind of like this golden age of comedy for us. Like, I know, like, our dads might say Fox or somebody like that, from the 60s or 70s, but that's kind of where I would pick up on it and stuff. And then, oddly enough, this is going to sound weird, but I was always really, really fat. Okay. Like, fatter than I am now. Now I've just got like an oversized dad bod that I can get away with, especially on Twitter. But like in high school and stuff, I was a really, really large kid, always battled my weight, and stuff like that. So you would form like that's what you would use. Like, you would use comedy. Like, so if somebody was starting to make fun of you, like, you would figure out a way to turn it and try to make the whole group laugh. And so once you do it enough, I just kind of got to where I could, do it. And so, like, it would never bother me, like awkward situations and stuff. You would just take an awkward situation and try to make it funny. And so that's kind of what I do to this day, but you do it subconsciously. Now, back then, like, obviously I couldn't fight, because if I was fat, I wasn't going to take anybody down. So that's what you would do, is just try to make everybody laugh. So that's really where a lot of it came from, background, but then growing up through that stuff too. So shout out to McDonald's for that.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the Chris Farley documentary. He talked a lot, a lot just, similar to things like that, and it's true though. Laughter, and I have a sense of humor as well. Is you control situations if you can make people laugh, and like you said, you can turn anyone's mood around. You can turn the direction around.
You can, and man, the wild thing is, it's like it's good and it's bad, because, like, I don't know if you can relate to this, but if like a situation happens, it's like a very sad situation. Like I don't want to like even a day or whatever. Like I'm always that guy that tries to cut a joke and like it never fails, it's at the wrong time, but it's all I know to do. You know, so you always cut the joke, and like half the people look at you and they're half going like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "What?" Like I thought, you know. So it's, I mean, it definitely has its ups and downs, but
hey, it's why I have tattoos. You know, they're matching on both my biceps. One says gifted and one says curse, and I think that so many things are gifts and so many things that can be curses
100%.
at the same time. You know, so it's, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad. I tell people that all the time. You know, I was like, you know, am I annoying you? Yes, but I also make you laugh some other times, right? So you're gonna have to take the annoying times if you get the laugh times. I'm not. You can't
that's what I told my wife on our wedding night. I was like, you're just gonna have to deal with this. Like half the time you're gonna laugh, and half the time you're gonna wonder why you made the decision. But we're just gonna get through it, okay? She was like, all right, man.
Oh, awesome. Yes. Well, that's great. That you've. And so going through that, and like you said, you kind of, you know, dealt with, you know, being made fun of, or what do you want to say, because of your weight when you were younger, and using laughter as to do that. How has that shaped you as a person now, do you think, as an adult? Because I mean, I tell kids, because I work with kids all the time, this is very small. You know, it's a very small gap in time. This you know, this high school, these school years. And so
I don't know. Like I think it has. Honestly, I think it has helped in certain situations. I think that it's hurt though, just due to when you're on social media, and then the times that we live in now, and you know, some of the jokes that I would have told 10 years ago would literally get me banned today. You know, and that's just that's just, you know, everything, that's growth and maturity and everything like that. So I think it's helped and it's hurt. I think it does help in certain situations. I think in, like I said, in awkward situations, or in streaming or content creation, you can make a joke or cut something really quick and kind of get you through that little dull period, you know, or something that you might have. But it can also hurt you just based on sometimes, you know, sometimes my mouth will write a check that my butt can't cash. And so I'm just really glad that I don't like, in person's a lot harder, because like Twitter, you have to actually type it and then send the button. So like, I hope the FBI doesn't go through my drafts anytime soon. But yeah, I mean, I think it has helped a good bit. I think it helps you being able to, just like I said, being able to adapt to whatever's thrown at you. I think it does, because I think everybody uses, you know, there's people out there that are not necessarily funny, but they're always like happy and try, you know, and uplifting and stuff, you know, and I think that's something they use. I think comedy is something that I try to use in that aspect. Like anytime you can help somebody, you know, go from, you know, having a bad day to a good day, any way that you do it, I think that's positive.
So that, you know,
no, I think
and sorry, but kind of what you're saying there, I think it ties into a lot of what I like to say to other people is you know, that struggle, in a sense. You know, what do you want to call it? You know, there's a certain level of struggle that you adapted to, overcame, and thus because of that became stronger and better and more adaptable as people. And so I think a lot of times when we see kids and people who grow up who have it quote unquote easy, when they run into a real problem, they don't know how to. They don't have these skills that people like me and you, who have probably had a lot of challenges to overcome, you know, and learn to adapt. And that kind of, you know, they get.
It is, man. It's just totally different. I feel like I'm in this like limbo stage of my life. Like I feel like your mid-30s, you're kind of like you're not forward yet, so you really can't relate. And like, you know, you're a little bit too old to kind of relate to a lot of people that are like 15 years behind you. You know, so it's kind of tough. So you got to watch that little buffer area there. But no, I mean it. Yeah, I would definitely say it helped a good bit, especially like later. Like, I mean, it helps too. Like, I mean, a weird aspect of it is when you meet people. Like, I mean, you know, if you're, like I said, that awkward thing, but if you can kind of cut a joke and kind of get to talking to somebody, that's, you know, an easier way to network and stuff too. So I was able to do some of that, you know, like as far as on Twitter and social media and stuff, like I was able to kind of use that in aspects too. That and being able to save as many memes as my phone will hold. So I've done that.
Yes. So another thing that another thing that we became in contact because of is giveaways. So you were giving for a while. I remember you were giving. It seemed like you were like giving something away constantly. It was like it was a microphone. It was a headset. It was it was a monitor. It was it was tons and tons of stuff. And I was lucky enough to win that one the jersey that one time, which I made that video for you for the Scary Terry. But so what made you want start like what, I'm gonna give something away and then kind of just build off of that.
Yeah, this thing, whether a lot of people want to admit it or not, this whole thing, like, this is a business, and it 100%, like, content creation, everything, it is, when you cut it all the way down to its core, it's a business. And so that was a way that I looked at it to help me get my foot in the door, and not to sound like just completely naive about it, but I was like, if I can get my foot in the door, I can keep the door open. Like, I can, like, if I just get it open with that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize at the time it would snowball as big as it did, and it kind of did. But I've always been that, like, when we were growing up until a certain age, like, we just didn't have a lot at all, and so I was really like, my dad's always been the kind to, like, if he sees somebody, he's always going to help them, or he'll donate if he can and stuff like that. So I looked at it also as a way to help people, especially with some of the stuff that I was giving away, like the equipment. If it was a streamer and I could help, like, somebody that was just starting out, because that stuff's it's very daunting whenever you start it anyway. And then you look at the equipment and you're like, well, I'll get this, but I can't get that. So that's kind of the way that I looked at it. But it started out, like I said, as a way to kind of get my foot in the door, and then I kind of transitioned that to, like, Twitch subs and Twitch. And then the Twitter scenario, though, didn't, like, I'd done some, like, I think not this past year, but the year before that, I'd done the jerseys. And once a week, it was football, and I'll do those every year. I love doing that. But it snowballed whenever COVID hit, and I posted a PlayStation 4. I don't know if you remember that. And it was like, it was the controllers and stuff with it. And, like, man, that, like, it just snowballed. And I had it kind of, and then COVID, like I said, COVID had hit. People were, like, really trying to people were locked inside. That was when Twitch really blew up even more, and people were needing equipment. And I had, like, so much stuff here. Like I said, when I started streaming, like, I had a couple of webcams and stuff like that. And I was like, well, okay, let's just do this. And so it just kind of really blew up. Now, I will say, though, that I did have to stop the first PlayStation that I shipped. The kid that won it that I selected was in England. And so I had to eat the shipping on that, and I will never do that again. Honestly, that was pretty horrific. But that's kind of what I did. Like I said, I would be lying if it wasn't to get my foot in the door, because, when you do it, I hate people that's like, oh, I just want to help. Like, everybody pays attention to their follower count. Everybody does, no matter what platform you got. And so I knew that it would help me, kind of get further along. It kind of speeds the process up. And then it kind of reached a certain point where it kind of became a burden to kind of worry about. And I was like, similar to the OGN situation, I was like, you know what? I'm going to break away from this. Like, when on Twitch, it's going to be, if you want to enjoy the content, and we're going to kind of break it away from that. Like, and so that's why, like, earlier this year, it was later last year, I actually posted, I was like, this is kind of over with. Dude, I had people, like, and I love helping people. I really do. And I would get somewhere between 20 and 30 DMs a day just asking me for stuff. Like, hey, do you have an extra PlayStation? Do you have, like, and so it kind of became a little bit overwhelming to where I couldn't focus on creating new content, because I was worried about, like, oh, well, like, have I given anything away in 2 weeks? Like, I probably need to do that. And I was like, I'm kind of done with this, So that's when I focused more on, like, I partnered with Gamers Outreach and kind of did some of that stuff. And that's kind of where I'll direct a lot of that energy from now on, just to there. Like I said, the jersey stuff and everything, I still love to do. That's because, bro, there is nothing more badass than getting a jersey. Like, anybody that's got a jersey that gets one, it's awesome. Like, we all have a closet full of, we all love them. And so that's why I started doing that. That was one of the things that I said that I 100% will keep doing. But as far as I'm out of PlayStation, so no more random PlayStation.
Yeah,
I'm all tapped out.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine the kind of, once you get it, because I was something I talked to Cece about a little bit, was just kind of when you become known, like for him, so it's opening bundles and packs. You become known for a certain thing. Every time people come to you, it's like, what are you giving away? What are you giving away? What are you going to give away? And it's like, okay, I did that one time. Now I'm going to hang out with some of you guys. We don't need to talk about.
It does, and it does snowball into something, and but that comes with the territory. Like if you're going to give stuff away, like you sign up for that part of it. And so I wasn't like, I knew that, but I just didn't realize that it would go on for like, I think a year and a half or something. It was a long time. It was a really long time. But that's when I just made that decision. I was like, we need to focus on trying to like win a game of Madden instead of shipping PlayStations to the UK.
Oh, man.
Shout out to that kid though. He did get it. It stayed in customs for like a month, but he did get it.
No. Props to you though, for sure. For like I said, that's one of the, I always say and tell people when your name comes out, one of the biggest hearts, in the Madden community for sure. As far as giving stuff to people and, just like you said, it's not just, you do say obviously get your foot in the door. But, the thoughtfulness of, like you said, getting a jersey, we all love them. Getting pieces of equipment when we're going, so the thoughtfulness behind
100%.
certain things, so that does, it is good. So,
and there's like I said, like whenever I would try to pick somebody, like you want to pick somebody that's going to use it, like, and so you don't want to pick somebody that's like, that you send it to them and then it gets put on eBay a day later. You really don't want to mess with that. But there's been a lot of, but that's kind of why, going back to that, that's why I like Toys for Tots every year and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm just going to take like that time and that money and everything else. I'll just put it towards that and just kind of shift everything to there. But nah, the jerseys.
Reminds me of my dad, one of my band members in my old band, when he was playing his guitar, he had a nice guitar. It was, a couple $100, maybe even $1,000 guitar. But my dad just saw how much he jammed on it and loved it. And my dad's a guitar player from, hippie from back in the day. So he came down one day and just brought him his Gibson Les Paul. So maybe you should play that one for a while. And the guy's sitting there with a $5,000 guitar, and it's like, that's like you say, you see somebody else that's struggling and trying to make do with what they have, and you can make them a little bit easier for them. You reach out, so that's
and
that's
like
real.
It's like it's fun. Like it's a really look, it's an awesome thing. Like you said, like what your dad did, like that is an awesome feeling when somebody that is gonna like appreciate it to like that level. Like there's no better feeling than giving somebody that. Like that is the greatest thing on the planet. So and you kind of want to keep repeating it, but nowadays you gotta be careful with it. But no, like that's the best. Is an incredible feeling for sure. Like when you help somebody get to that next level, or just somebody like you were talking about equipment or anything, like anything you want to stream with, that's always awesome. Always.
Putting smiles on faces, just to keep it simple.
Oh yeah,
that's what in essence, content creators do, and and in all different kinds of ways. So as far as and obviously I've been seeing you've been streaming a lot of MLB The Show lately, and anyone that watches you stream pretty consistently daily, almost weekly for a while now. Madden for a good while. So is that kind of where you see yourself? Is on a constant stream scale? Did you see yourself wanting to branch out in anything in the content creator wise? You want to do you see yourself starting YouTube series or?
Yes, yeah. That my like that was another thing. Like at the beginning of this year, I was like, because this kind of goes back to being a business, that I was like, I either need to, kick this into another gear or scale it back. And so that's when I was like, I love to do this. So I was like, I promised myself, I was like, you're going to spend this year and you're going to really like push as hard as you can. So that's when I made an effort to, the stream schedule, the consistency of it, but then to branch out, like you said, other platforms. So that's when I went to TikTok, and then I've got somebody that's working on YouTube right now that I'm going to try to get there. Now, the only downside to it, and I'm, like I said, I swear I can't do gameplay. There's just no way that I can. I don't think I can do it. Like, cause like as a content creator, your limitations, like you do. And I'm like, I just don't think I can. There's guys, man, that are incredible at it. There are, and I just can't do it. And I was like, so maybe if I, YouTube is such a large platform that I thought if I can get stream recaps and somebody that could take streams and cut them properly and then upload them there, like a 5-hour stream and cut it to 10 minutes and upload it, that's kind of where I'm trying to push to and trying to get to there eventually. I think like Instagram and stuff, I think, you know what sucks about Instagram? Instagram is just not a really big platform for gaming in general. And it's definitely not for Madden. Like it is for us, like, you know, we all follow each other and yada, yada, yada. But I mean, as far as like, I guess TikTok or YouTube, like, no, like Insta is just not, you need to be on it. Like I think you do, but I don't, there's just not near as much there. But no, YouTube is where it's at. And I've even noticed too, I try to tell people all the time because everybody's like, well, I want to go to TikTok, but you know, I don't get many views or stuff. I'm like, man, like I just had I had 2 people actually today that were popped in stream and they were like, oh, I just saw your latest TikTok and like, you know, the top. And I was like, see those, you know, if you, because it's nothing to do it and it's free. And if you get a couple extra new stream and a couple of new eyes on your stream every week, like all this just kind of builds on each other. So no, that's my main focus right now is 100% YouTube. Now, if I don't know if I can get there, just like I don't know if I can get to 200 pounds again, but we're going to try, but I don't know. I don't know if we can get there. I'll probably get on YouTube before I get to 200 pounds though. Shout out to Sonic for that.
And you, and in a sense, you know, it's kind of a struggle that I've had because I can make YouTube videos all day, whether they're YouTube videos that people want to watch is a different story. You know what I mean? I mean, it's stuff that I think that, you know, I don't know who I'm talking to. You never know who you're just kind of talking. But someone like you, and I think I follow myself in the same category, and you talk about these recap videos. I mean, that's like catching you in your natural spot as much as you can. Yeah. And that's why everyone watches the stream. So I could see, you know, I would totally watch a 10-minute video of your stream today, but maybe get somebody that talks over it. It had its ups, it had its downs, or what, you know, something like that. It had him cussing out a clown. It had, you know, whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Like you just said, I think you hit it on the nose. Like you could edit and cut all these different types of ideas, but like, is the juice worth the squeeze, so to speak? And so like that's what I had to sit down and I was like, I wouldn't watch myself do a gameplay. God knows I would not watch myself do a gameplay video. I wouldn't watch myself play Madden anyway. So shout out to the people that do. But like, there's no way. And so I was like, stream recap, and like I'm like, you know, I tried to get ideas for that, and I kind of looked at some of the other guys like Summit and some of those guys, and that's kind of what they do because man, you stream. You know, shout out to guys like CC and like ScoMo that can stream still the hours they do and then still get all these videos and stuff cut and all their ideas and stuff done. Like there's no way, I'm just going to call myself lazy, but there's no way that I could stream for like 5, because I get done with like a 5-hour stream and then you'd have to sit down and shoot a video and then cut it and then upload it. And I'm like, I'm out of breath thinking about that. And I'm like, there's no way that I'd be able to do it. So, and I think that's tough. Like, I mean, you talked about, it's really tough to be a dedicated streamer and dedicated on another platform. And that's and so that's when I was looking at it and I was like, well, if I pay an editor, like, why are you going to pay an editor to do a gameplay video? Because your gameplay videos are going to suck. So don't do that. And that's why I was like, okay, we'll try this. So that's kind of what I'm figuring out. Also finding out, shout out to editors. They're not cheap at all. My God.
Well, I mean, I know just watching, you know, ScoMo and talking to him he exactly saw your pain and said, I cannot stream for 5 hours and then, you know, make a video afterwards. So he kind of makes his videos within his stream and has an editor who he just, you know, he'll put pieces together.
Like and like, that's what I'm talking, that's one of the things, like, you know, ScoMo's really good at what we talked about earlier at like adapting. And, you know, he kind of saw that window and like, you know, I think that kid's name's McCullough, I think. Yeah. And he, you know, he
does really, all my graphics.
really good editor. And like he does, like you said, knocks it out in the middle of the stream. And he figured out a way to do it. And like, it's, you know, got him to the next, I mean, just got his plaque. So he's doing something right.
That's for sure. Yeah. Shout out to McCullough though. He did all the graphics for this show and did my whole Mad Dad logo is McCullough as well. And so, Shout out to Jason.
And I was wondering myself whenever I remember Scummo talking about that. And he's like, I'm going to go this direction. And he kind of did a video on it. And I was like, that'll be kind of cool to watch. I wonder how they're going to do it. And it's a really neat process to see, but it's tough, man.
Yes.
Like I thought about the other day and I was talking to my wife. I was like, well, and it sounds bad to say this, but I was like, if I was like a bachelor, like I would knock this out. And I'm like, and I'm like, no, you wouldn't. And I was sitting there talking to myself. I was like, no, you wouldn't. I was like, you wouldn't, like you'd stream in the morning and then you'd lay your fat ass over there on the couch for like 4 hours, exactly what you do. And you wouldn't get anything done. Like I love building stuff up in my head. Like, oh, if I just had more time, I'd get it done. No, you wouldn't.
I'd be exactly like Gut Fox, where I'd be asleep. If I get up and start streaming about 1 o'clock. Shout out to Gut Fox as well, but
and that's another Fox does the same thing. He does the same thing. Like he'll shoot. You'll see him shoot a YouTube video in the middle of Twitch, and that's a great idea to do. And that he'll do the same thing. And so that's kind of like a cool. I mean, I just can't. I don't know. They do more gameplay and stuff than I do, so there's no way I could do it. But that's. If I thought about doing that during I guess because my mind just goes in one direction, there's no way. I'm afraid I'd mess it up. Like everybody, I would have people just dying in stream laughing because I just be like, okay, stop, go. It would be rough.
There you go. It makes for an entertaining stream as well. You see somebody fall.
I'd probably get more views out of the bloopers than I would the actual gameplay video.
Exactly. More than there you go. It's all process. But yeah, I mean, I'd be definitely interested in watching one of those myself. So definitely keep that in mind when you're expanding yourself. But one thing you have been talking about and pushing this last couple months, I should say, when I say pushing, but or making people aware of, is the Clubhouse.
Yes.
And kind of go ahead.
The simple idea behind it is Barstool. That was our idea behind it.
Okay.
Like when they we've kind of. And oddly, this is another, shout out to my wife with all the ideas here. So I'm on Discord one day, right? And I'm talking, it's me and Zan and Colt and Jimmy and CJ Sauce. And so I'm sitting there, shooting with him. And my wife walks by and she was like, what are you doing? You talking to your friends in your little clubhouse? And I was like, what? And she was like, your little Mickey Mouse clubhouse there? And I was like, how do you do this? Like, would you just go away? Like, stop making my life better. And so, like, that's kind of where it just spawned from there. Like, I don't know. She just walked behind me. I was like, Clubhouse. And I typed it in Discord, and everybody was like, what? I was like, yeah, that's her. She just walks by with one-liners all the time. So.
Sounds like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know if I'm sure you know who he is. He said, as he was coming up for the name, as he was trying to change it to this character, he was sitting there and his wife was making his coffee and she put it down. She said, you better drink that before it gets stone cold. And then right after
I've never heard that.
Yeah. And then right after she said that, she herself said, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's going to be your name. And then
wow, and a legend was born, a literal legend.
Yeah, so
that's crazy, bro.
Shout out to the ladies out there. Always
that's what I was about to say. Shout out to the wives.
But so how is that? I mean, I was very, in theory, it sounds exactly like, if I would have heard of something like this when I was first wanting to get this urge to kind of, connect to other people, I might have not never became a content creator. Maybe I would have just hung out in the Clubhouse the entire time. But so is it kind of just, is that what it is? Just an open Discord where everyone's just kind of chatting? Is that, or is it voice chatting? Are they video chatting? Is it, again, I have not been in there yet. Or I didn't know it's open.
Well, what we wanted to do was like, we were like, you know what, we're not gonna, our idea wasn't anything to do with content creation. We were like, you know what, we just want a place where you can talk about whatever you want to, whenever you want to. And so like we took, man, like Debbie said this like a year ago, I think. And we were in like our own little group chat in Discord, And so I think it was like, was it 2 months ago or something? It was right before we were going to do the tournament that Gamer Saloon helped us do. And I was like, Gamer Saloon approached me and they said, we want to sponsor a tournament. Will you do it? And I was like, yeah, I would love to do it. But you know what? Let's not do it under my name, even though we're going to do it on my channel. I was like, let's do it under this name. And so we did it with the Clubhouse. Jimmy did the logo for it. And then Colt created the Discord. It took him like probably God, I don't know. It took him like 2 days, I think, to build it. And so we've got everything for everybody. Like we got rooms for March Madness, for sports betting. We've got the bar where we just talk about whatever. Pretty much any games like that, because we add stuff each time. And then it's kind of a place too that we wanted a central location that you could come find out something about every game. Like if I wanted to, I could go into Mutt and I could ping everybody and be like, hey, like, so what's the deal with this new Cam Chancellor? Is he good? I ain't used him. And, you get pictures and stuff from everybody. The same with MLB and stuff like that. But then we wanted to go beyond gaming with it. We kind of wanted to do, because everybody, we've got degenerate sports gamblers, me, and then just people that just watch sports nonstop, me. But like that's kind of what we wanted, just a place. Pretty much, like, it sounds weird, but we wanted to pull everybody off of Twitter and throw you into Discord, because it would be more central for it instead of everybody atting everybody. And so that was kind of our idea. It didn't, and it doesn't still, like, there's no content creation or anything. It's just like, so we started the Clubhouse and I was talking to them, and I think it was Colt that was like, you know what, let's call it the bar. I was like, so you just belly up to the bar? I was like, okay, oddly enough, that sounds fantastic. So it just kind of spawned from there and just kind of snowballed. And so we've kind of, and we kind of decided to do group things or like community things since then. Like we're starting a MLB league and stuff like that. Like we got fantasy football, and I don't know, just, we didn't want to label it just for the guys, because one, that's going to get you in trouble in 2021. And then two, there's a lot, like there's like, McCarley, his wife, I can't remember her name, which he'll kill me, but she's like a really, really, really good streamer, really, really good at shooters. I was like, we can't exclude anybody. We want to include everybody. Mm-hmm. And so we didn't ever label anything specific. We were like, hey, if you want to come in, let's go. So that's kind of what we did. We just thought, well, with the people that are in here, the people that want to join it, we'll do, like, I guess events or something. But as far as like dedicated content creation, no, not really. Like Jimmy came up with the little commercials and stuff that we had that were really funny. And like, that was just, that was more or less just our sense of humor. Just kind of showing that out. But pretty much we just wanted a place for everybody to hang out. Cause I felt like we all have our own Discords. But if you were to ask any of us, we're not very active in our own Discords. Like everybody's, you know what I mean? Like I'm not, like, shout out to my mods that are in there. Sorry. But like, you're not. So like, that's what we wanted. We were like, let's use Discord for something other than just like, oh, I'm a streamer, must create my own Discord. We were like, let's do it. Like, and it's pretty active. Like, I think we got like 400 and something people in there. And, so it's all like belly up's usually always active, but and then like MLB, and then like I said, we had a big March Madness thing that we had like a couple of gift cards that we gave away and stuff. But that's kind of the goal, is just whenever a new game comes out, we just wanted a place for everybody just to kind of hang out and just talk about it and stuff like that. But anything in general, sports. The only thing we don't talk about is politics, but like sports, gambling, anything like that, like we're all for it. That's kind of why we labeled it kind of like the bar. It sounds stupid. Jimmy pointed this out, and I was like, well, I say a lot of stupid things, get used to it. And it was like, I was like the Barstool of Madden, but not Madden, just the Barstool of gaming, kind of. Barstool doesn't have a Discord, so I'm really hoping that Portnoy doesn't catch me saying that on some random clip and I end up getting a cease and desist letter, because I'm sure he would do it. But that was our idea behind it, pretty much.
Well, like I said, it sounds like exactly what a lot of people would, a place for people to go, like I was saying, that just kind of just at home and wanting to be able to connect to other people that are doing similar things, like you said, all the things you mentioned. So as far as the Clubhouse, the Discord, I'm still learning Discord. Like you said, as a content creator, it became one of those things. You got to have a Discord. All right, you go in there and you see a bunch of people just kind of shooting off. It's kind of it's like a ruthless chat. It's firing up. I don't know if anyone's really talking to anyone. It's just kind of like a lot of things going like that. So when you say it's organized into like specific subject areas, so are those like constantly going? Is there a hotter time than others? Like, is it Friday and Saturday night, like the hot times, or is it just like a?
You know, oddly enough, it's kind of weird. I feel like it's really more active during the week, and then like on Sundays, I feel like Friday and Saturdays, it does. Like if we do, like if somebody mentions like, hey, we want to do this kind of like, because we've done a couple of drinking streams, like we were talking about, you know, we've done like what we call Beerio Kart before. Which is pretty fun, and you know you can rotate people in. A couple of weeks or like a month ago, I think we did a squad stream where it was like 4 or 5 of us, and then we rotated out, and you know anybody that was in Discord that wanted to play us, like get your team and play us, and kind of like that. But that was our main goal, was to build one, not only build one really well, but build one and make sure that it's continuously active. And that's kind of what we try to do. Like, you know, there's dead times, you know, sometimes you'll go a day and there won't be a whole lot of activity, but for the most part, it's pretty active. Like I said, I feel like streamers kind of create their own, and like I've even got one, but I'm not really in it that much. And like it's kind of like you said, it'll either be a screaming match or it's like the same 3 people just kind of talking, you know. And so that's kind of what we were trying to avoid and kind of get away from. And so that's kind of why we made it. I mean, like Colt's made it where it's got everything you can want. It's one of the only Discords that I've been in as well that you can select what you want to see. So when you get into it, you can actually click and say, you know what, I don't want to see anything about gambling. I don't like gambling. So you won't ever actually see that room at all. I don't like Madden, so you won't see any Madden. So you can make it where the only thing you see is like MLB and then like tech news. If that's all you want to watch, or if that's all you want to keep up with, that you can do that. Like he made it also fully customizable, so the user can do whatever they want to do and see whatever they want to see. So it's pretty great. I've never been in one that normally you go in one and you got to mute the entire thing because like it's just nonstop or something. So this one, luckily, you don't have to do that. You can literally just select what you want.
Oh, awesome! That's Sounds like it's what I wish I could do on Twitter properly. You know, they want you to do the filters, but it's like I solely have my because I actually have a music Twitter. I have, like I said, a whole other world that doesn't, you know, have like accounts and stuff that are and so I just use my, you know, my Mad Dad Twitter just for Madden and football, you know, anything that's kind of revolves around that kind of can branch out from the sport, random funny things or whatever you want to say, just kind of in the same kind of area there. But yeah, that's kind of what, you know, you want to have as a place where you can find people that are worrying exactly about the things you're worrying about. So
and the thing that's so weird about Twitter too, it's not weird, I just wish they'd implement it. And most I guess I don't know, like I always want to follow more people, but then I'm a big, like, I like the list thing on Twitter, but I don't like it telling everybody that you put them in a list.
Yes.
So like I would, you know what I mean? So like I would love to be able to say like Madden, MLB, yada yada. But when you do, you know, it's like, why did you add me to this? Like I'm not, you know, so I don't even mess with that.
I'm not a tech guy. I'm not a tech guy.
So that's kind of where I was just like, all right, fine. And you know, I hate muting people too, because like
I go on a mutiny.
It sounds bad. Right when I mute somebody, they're going to tell me something I need to hear every time. Like it never fails. And so, and it's embarrassing if they ever find out that you did mute them and they can tell. That's kind of like an awkward moment. But I don't like to.
I never unfollow people. I will mute them. Just like my whole thing with Facebook is I'll never unfriend anybody. You know, back in the Facebook days. Yeah. But I will mute you because if things that you say make me angry, then I'm not gonna. Why would I want to get? I don't go on social media or whatever to get angry. So if like you're the type of person that's gonna anger me, then I'm just. You know, I'm not gonna give you the or confront you by, you know, going through a process of unfollowing. I'm just gonna be like, you know what? You can just talk to the wall for a while.
and you kind of, I think, as a user, like if you're aware, now some people I follow on Twitter are not aware at all, but and they need their phones taken away.
For sure.
You kind of know what your followers or, you know, friends or whatever want to see, and so like you won't tweet something or say something, not because it's bad, just because it's like, you know, that's not what you want to use the platform for. Exactly. You know, I'm kind of like you, like if a certain subject is a little bit touchy, like you hate to see it fill up one side of the platform, you kind of be like, if I want to see it, I'll go out and try to see it, like that kind of scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of what I do. Like I'll think. I put it this way: I think a lot more about tweets now than I did like 2 years ago. But and so that's kind of. But I think that's social media. Social media is like an animal in itself. Like I wish I could take a class on it, but I can't.
It's insane, and just like I try to explain to the students all the time, that I work with, it's just the entity that it is and how I look at it. It's like, you think about Facebook or or Instagram's like the fresh ones, like pictures of animals and dogs and or whatever you want to say. Facebook's like old friends from high school that are like, look at so and so's got a kid that rides a dirt bike, and then whatever, and then Twitter's just like, fuck you, I hate the world. And it's all this.
I was about to say. Twitter's either nothing but flowers or it's just like hell on earth, man. It's like one or the other. I struggle to find the middle ground. It's like, because you'll read one tweet that is literally like, I want to burn this fucker to the ground. And the next one you scroll to, it's like, I'm having the best day ever. And you're just like, wow. Like, that is, wow. Like, you'll scroll 4 or 5 tweets. It's like, holy God. Like, this is a lot to handle right here. Twitter is.
You get a twisted view of the news, and then you get the people that commentate, which I'm here for. I'm here for the commentary, which is like all the gifs, all the little memes that are made about everything instantly.
100%.
And it's funny, and so it's such a weird thing, and
I do like I keep a lot of that stuff off, and not because it'll hurt your brand, just because I'm gonna hear it anyway on my TV. Like, or I'm gonna, like, my wife is gonna talk about it, but like, I just don't want to. You don't want to see it repeatedly every single day, and so that's kind of like where I get with it. I'm like, nah, I don't want to mess with that right now, But you do, like, I mean, it's tough. Like, I tell a lot of people that are getting into it, if not, I mean, you don't want to tell somebody watch what they say, but like, you need to, you do have to be, cognitive of like what's going on. Like, you can't, and you will, like in this day and age, you kind of have to just bite your tongue if you want to keep the same base that you had. Like, to put it this way, if you want to keep the same base that you had before an event happens, sometimes I just won't even tweet. And the bad part is, and I think you'll agree, is that like sometimes that does more damage than tweeting. Sometimes if you don't tweet, you're in more hot water than you were if you did say something. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Why are you so quiet? Why so quiet?
Yeah. Like, you're gonna DM, like, I mean, so what's the deal, man? Like, you don't, and I'm like, bro, like, I just wanted to know if Cam Chancellor's getting a 99 overall.
Exactly.
Like,
his name is Mad Dad. That means Mad Din. It's all this guy's here to talk about.
It says man streamer in my profile. Like, why? Like, I'm not in a news desk.
It reminds me of the Dave Chappelle stand-up, the one where he's talking about like when 9/11 happened. He's all, we have I forget who it was. We have which singer it was. I was like, we have this is a Juvenile here who about these. I don't want to hear what Juvenile has to say right now. Why you? It's an artist. We want some real people here. Why are you asking my opinion? I play Madden. I don't know what's going on outside.
That's what I don't
need
get.
the fucking house.
Like,
I don't leave the house, so I don't know what's going on.
Anything I tell you right now really going to change your opinion? No, it's not. But what it is going to do is it's going to put it out for everybody else to see, and so I'm just going to skip that.
Exactly. It's like I've already fast forwarded this episode. I saw the end, hated it.
Bingo.
So I'm just gonna so I'm gonna go ahead and stop
Bingo.
it right now.
The one thing I did learn though, and this goes in the other direction too, like whenever, like, especially during football, I learned this the hard way during baseball, because baseball fans are rabid as hell. But like, football, you got to watch. Like, I caught myself about a year and a half ago, and I'd only stuck to Patriot stuff. I was either Madden or like I tweet about New England, and I forgot what game it was, but it was a random Monday Night Football game, and I'd have to go back and look. But I tweeted something about one of the teams that were playing. My God, I will never, like, I'll cut a joke about a player or something now, but I will never come after a team ever on Twitter again. I'm done with that. Biggest mistake of my life. Biggest mistake. Because somebody said the other day, they were like, oh, this yada yada fan base is so weird. I'm like, bro, every NFL fan base is weird. Like, every team, stop with that. Like, every team. I mean, I've got Patriots people that are like wild as hell, just like any other fan base. Like, they're wild.
And they're so the one thing about Twitter though, that more than anything else, and Twitch in a lot of the same ways, is just the facelessness of the majority. So much of it is faceless. You know what I mean? It's not, it's not a profile pic. It's like a character in some Japanimation, or it's a helmet, or a logo, or some meme, or it's never, you hardly see people, you hardly see faces. So it's weird. I assign faces or voices due to their personalities, kind of like, it's like, oh, this is a whiny guy, all he ever does is complain. I don't know what he looks like, so I'm assuming he's gonna be a
you do. No, but you do. Like, I tried to tell somebody the other day, and they were like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. And I was like, I come from, like, my dad was a pharmacist, so he owned 2 small pharmacies back home, and so I was always working at the pharmacy. So you learn, like, customer service. That's why I say everybody on this planet, bro, should have to work for the public. You should have to work for, at least for a little bit, you should have to work for the public. But that's a whole nother interview. But so, like, I kind of learned, and he would do that. Like, my dad would always use the phrase, like, I can't remember a name, but I remember a face. And so I use that on Twitch sometimes, and you learn people's mannerisms, and so you associate that with them. And so you've got people that are popping your stream that will love a certain thing you do, or a certain song on a playlist, and it's weird. So, like, I kind of feel like that helped a little bit. Like, it kind of, because people love it. Like, no matter how many people are watching or whatever, if they pop in, they're like, hey, so-and-so, like, it's cool when somebody is like, hey, what's going on? Did you, how did that happen yesterday? Because you remember something that happened to them yesterday, like, hey, how did you get that? Oh, and I've had people like, oh, damn, yeah, it was good, and you kind of catch them off guard. But that's kind of a good way to do it. Like, a mom and pop feel to a stream really helps you grow, and can kind of really help you connect with other people, because like, it's weird to say that I don't know that I would ever want to. Well, if I want to make money at it, I want to get that big. But like a stream like Nick Merckx, it's got 50,000 people in it. It's crazy to see. I'm like, how do you even read anything? Like, do you know anybody in there at all? Like, I don't, So I don't know.
As I shout out to that, I know you know that Up and Adam streamer, but I mean, that guy, yes. he talks a million miles a minute, and I was like, he keeps up with everything. I was like, that guy, I mean, he must not have kids, first of all, to have that much energy, because my children sucked it all away from me, like,
Yeah, mine ago. Too. Like, mine comes in blocks. I'll get like little blocks of energy, and that's it.
But like I tell my streamers, you guys never get really me. You get the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night versions of me, who's had his ass kicked all week and all morning, who wants to sit down and play Madden, doesn't want to do it alone, so he does it with you guys. I'm already angry, and I'm not, at this part, I'm like, done. You're getting, the day got me, the world got me. You get the leftover version.
And that's the thing, talking about Adam too. That that I think the directory Madden is in a really, really good spot. Aside from the game this year not being great, I really think the community is taking a really big step. You're seeing a lot of new guys, push for partner. We've seen a lot of them make partner. And I hate when people are like, oh my God, like so-and-so, like if you ever want to, if people don't realize, if the pie is only so big, you're not going to get very much of it. But if that pie is huge, there's a lot better chance of you getting a bigger slice of that pie. And so, like, that's why it's always great to see the directory do that. Like, Adam and those guys that have a lot more, they stream a lot longer than me too. They got a lot more energy than I do. There's no way that I couldn't. Adam straight,
no children.
Like a lot of, bro, like, I swear to God, like, I stream 5 days a week. You'll see them, like, they'll go live, like, my phone will go off. It's like, damn, he's streaming on Sunday. Like, what are you doing on a Sunday? Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. I already have anxiety about Monday on Sunday. Like, my Sundays are, if it's not football season, anxiety filled. Like, oh crap, Monday's tomorrow. That's all I'm like.
And that's the bad part about when it gets out of football season. Like, Sundays are kind of rough too. I couldn't. But I'll see them. Like, some of those guys will grind. Like you said, 6-7 days a week. I can do it 5. Like, I found a comfortable, medium, like 5 days a week. Now, sometimes, and as you know, like, you've got appointments, like doctor's appointments or whatever, and so you have to move stuff. But like, about 4 or 5 hours is good solid. But like you said, there's guys like 7 days a week, they go live at like 10 in the morning, and I'll be messing around at like 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, damn, you're still on? Like, what are you doing? Like, where are you getting this energy from? Like, can you ship me some of that?
Exactly. It ain't G Fuel. I know that's for damn
no,
sure.
no, they got 14 tubs of G Fuel in the back. I'm like, bro, like, I've drank G Fuel before. That G Fuel did not crank me up for 3 days in a row.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, but that's you're right though. Definitely the population and the saturation of streamers and good streamers, and good solid. It seems like good solid people that are bringing positive, vibes to the community has definitely been in the last year, and you can pop into any one of their streams and they're always, and it's always the same type of atmosphere, which is cool. And so
and a good mixture of like just regular guys like myself or Adam, and then you've got comp guys, that have kind of, there's been a couple of comp guys that have really kind of taken, that step and stuff. And then what helped the directory too was, Skimbo came into the directory, and that helps expand it too. And you need those guys. Like I know people get salty at people's numbers sometimes, but the directory has to grow. Because I hate it when people say that and they're like, well, I mean, like Fortnite pays out like $1 million. And I'm like, have you looked? Like Fortnite has 30,000 people watch them every day, like, or Warzone, like a little bit different, man. A little bit different,
Yeah. And that's definitely like you say. It's 10% of 100 is 10. 10% of 1,000 is 100. 10% of
some people's math ain't real good.
That's not at all. But yeah, man. I know I've taken up an hour of your time here, and I really appreciate you coming by. But like I said, you're someone that I definitely wanted to get on these early interviews because just a personality and someone that I wanted to get a chance to talk to and know a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
But thanks for all you do for the community, buddy, and I look forward to seeing more and more as you grow and you get more stuff out there. And
hopefully,
and I look forward to when you can put down MLB The Show a little bit and come back to Madden and start throwing that controller around. So
I'll be back. I've already had people, like I had a guy get ripped today. He was like, so you're never coming back? I was like, bro, I've been on MLB for a week, dog. Like, what? Like, I can't play another game. Like, chill out.
3 quarterbacks have dropped since then, DC. 3 quarterbacks that we have not seen you.
Somebody said something like, oh, you seem a little bit less stressed. I was like, I mean, yeah, I would like, MLB kind of keeps me alive a little bit longer. Like, I mean, I know people love to see me break stuff, but like, I'd love to stay on this planet a little bit longer. So I gotta take Madden out of the diet every once in a while.
Yes, it is true.
But no, man, it was a pleasure. Like I said, whenever you sent this, I was like, I want to do this 100%. Like, you're one of my favorite people. I was like, let's do it, bro. Let's do it.
Well, I appreciate you, my friend, and we'll definitely have you. We'll make the rounds and definitely have you come back again when we have some more stuff to talk about. So, and until then, thank you for getting mad real, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Get mad real.